Oh, my loves. Sorry. I couldn't resist. So, guess what we're learning about today? The land of the midnight sun. Do you know what that is? It's Alaska. Well, actually, there are some other countries that are also called the land of the midnight sun, but Alaska has that nickname too. And we're going to be talking about why Alaska is called the land of the midnight sun. Now, this is not a sun, but the song was I wear my sunglasses at night, so that's we had to have that background. But let me change my background for you because I want to show you something. Let me get out of the way. Do you see that? Now, those aren't like lights from, a ball field or anything like that. Those are actually, it's a time-lapse photograph of the sun on the horizon in Alaska. Now, this is from the beginning of the day, from sunrise to sunset. Does that sun look kind of different than you're used to? Well, let's talk about I'll get there. I'll get there. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Did I find it? I found it. Hooray. Okay. All right. So I can't do that. Okay, that's better. Okay. So sunshine at midnight is what happens in Alaska. During the summer months, they have lots and lots and lots of sunlight. Alaska receives more sunlight in spring and summer than any other state, and also compared to many other parts of the world. So the state's northernmost community is called Barrow, and the sun does not set for like 2.5 months. It is daytime for 2.5 months, from May until August, all day, sunlight, all the time. But remember that balance that we talk about, the world wants to be balanced because they have all those months of daylight. Then in the wintertime, they have to have darkness. So from November 18th to January 24th, around there, that's when the sun never rises above the horizon. Now behind me, you can see that's the horizon. And you can see that the sun is above the horizon. So obviously, this is not going to be winter time. This is going to be more like spring or in autumn. It actually might be in summer as well, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So the reason why Alaska is in darkness for so long and then in light for so long is because it's so close to that North Pole. And we learned in yesterday's videos and in yesterday's lesson that the Earth is tilted, so those poles are never really directly getting sunlight, okay? Because that Earth is tilted, that means that different parts of the Earth are going to have different amounts of sunlight. So that band around the middle, the equator, gets lots and lots and lots of sunlight. And then the North Pole, the South Pole, not so much. Now, at the equator, the sun does something different than it does here. And then it does something different again when it's in Alaska. So let me share with you my screen. And I made a mistake last time, and I clicked the wrong thing to share the screen, and it didn't share with you. So I'm pretty sure I am doing it right this time. All right. I need this one. I like this one. Okay, let's start with this one. Zoom, zoom. All right, so this is what it looks like for us here in North America, okay? Now, in the winter time, when we don't get that sun straight on, it's going to be right here. And it just comes a little bit above the horizon. It's not so high in the sky. But now remember, we are in Florida, so we are south of the United States. We're close to that equator. So our sun would probably be somewhere around here. But if you were to go up north to maybe New York, then that sun's going to be somewhere around there. So everywhere you are on the world, you have to understand it's going to be there's going to be a slight difference there. Okay, because depends on how far away from the equator you are. But let's just say this is an average path that the sun would take in North America. Now, the sun rises in the east, starts here, and then it sets in the west. So look at the path of sunlight that is the tallest. It hits the highest peak on this dome. Can you guess what time of the year that is, or what season that is? That's going to be summer. When the sun is high in the sky, that's going to be summer. And now take a look at this picture, and I'm going to show you why I like this so much. If we were to look at winter, look how many suns we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you could say that's like 6 hours of sunlight, something like that in the winter time. Now, if we look at the spring or the autumn, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are about 10 suns. So, I mean, this is an exact model. It doesn't mean there's going to be 10 hours of daylight, but it does show that there's more time where the sun is in the sky during the spring and autumn than in the winter. And then obviously in the summer, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 13. I don't know, did that count? 12 or 13. So the sun is in the sky for a longer amount of time, and the path it's taking is actually longer. So, you know, like if you were to take the long path home, it's going to take longer, and you're going to be on the road even longer. And that's what's happening in the summer. Another example I can show you is this one right here. So you see the path that the winter sun is making? It starts in the east and it goes to set in the west every time. Now that winter, see the path of the winter sun? It's not very high in the sky, but it is still higher than the trees there. And then autumn and spring is in the middle. And then the summer, it's at its height, the highest point. That summer sun is scorching. That's when we tend to go to the beach. That's when we get sunburn, wear your sunscreen, and things like that, because not only is the sun strongest because we are tilted towards the sun and we get those direct rays, but also we get more sunlight during those summer months. So it's very important as humans, we adapt to our environment, and in those summer months, we make sure we wear sunscreen, or we wear hats, or we bring a tent or an umbrella with us to the beach or to the park, and we stand in the shade as much as we can, because we don't have things like fur that could keep us safe. So we have to use those big, beautiful brains to keep our skin healthy and safe. Now, we know the path that we're used to here in North America. In the equator, look at the path of the sun. Take a look. Now it still rises in the east and it still sets in the west. But what do you notice? What is different? So if we were to look back at this one, we've got a tilt to that sun's path, right? The sun's path is tilted because the earth is tilted. But if you are at the equator, even though the earth is tilted, that equator is still pointing towards the sun. So we don't have that much of an angle. That sun rises straight up and it'll go straight behind you and come right back down, which is pretty amazing. And it still follows the same rules, still rises in the east and sets in the west. But now think about this. If it's going straight up, and also we're pointing towards the sun and we're closest to the sun, you're going to have a long day of daylight hours, right? And it's going to be very hot. And we know that. We know that the environment on the equator is very warm. So now how does that compare to what we have here in Alaska? Let me find it. I will find it for you. I can get it to load. Load. Okay, here we go. Slow internet. There we go. Okay, wait, hold on. I gotta put my sunglasses on because here comes the sun. Don't look directly at the sun. Sunrise in the east. And it just set in the west. Okay, now they're rewinding the tape. This is not the sun going backwards. This is not Superman movie. We don't go back in time like that. They're rewinding the movie. And now they're going to show you again. All right, 3 hours, 45 minutes. That's how long the sun was in the sky. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it must be like to go to school here in Fairbanks, Alaska? Think about that. You're going to school and it's recess time and you have to go outside and play in the dark. Can you imagine that? Now for us, sometimes we have to get up early in the morning and we head to school when it's still kind of dark outside and the sun's just rising. And that usually happens like in the autumn when the sun rises quite a bit later. And I have a very hard time getting up. Just thinking about it. Oh my goodness, it's making me yawn. I'm thinking about how tired I am at that time of year because my body doesn't want to wake up in the dark. My body says, dark time, sleep time. But I have to get up. We have to go to school. Can you imagine how many hours? Do the math. How many hours of the day do they have nighttime here? Okay, so now because Alaska spends so much time in the dark, they have to balance it out with having so much time in the daytime too, right? So let's watch a video about a giant cabbage farmer in Indy, Alaska.
Set it right on the ground. Let's go like this so we don't block the road off. Just put it down. My name is Brian Shunskis. I'm on a quest to grow big cabbage, hopefully a world record someday. It's a good competition with a lot of money involved. $2,000 for first, $1,000 for second, and I've gotten the $500 third place prize the last 3 years. Okay, let's just take it right off with it right here.
I think this could be a very, very competitive cabbage, not just for today's competition, but perhaps for a record.
Trying to grow bigger and bigger cabbages each year, and working as hard as I can to make it happen. Near Fairbanks, Salter, Alaska, we're up to 20 and a half, almost 21 hours of sunlight now. The more sun there is, the faster they grow. Probably the biggest mistake people make is starting too early, because cabbages, once they start growing, they need to keep growing fast, and you don't want to slow their growth down because it inhibits their potential. I grew a 94 and a half pounder a couple years ago. From a seed to when I cut it, no more than 90 days old. You know, when they first start growing, they're not putting on a pound a day. So somewhere along the line, that cabbage was putting on a couple pounds a day. But I don't have to grab hold of my hands. It's no secret that fish is a good fertilizer, and in Alaska we have so much available. I enjoy eating red salmon every day, and so do my cabbages. So everything kind of works together. I'm not just trying to grow the biggest cabbage. I'm going to try to grow it totally naturally with fish, and
I like that.
that's what I've done so far, and it's been working good. And I'm not going to give up on it. Pure food right there. My house here, it's over 300 miles, 330 miles maybe. Anyway, I put it in my van, and we drive down, and I'm the only one from outside Palmer-Wasilla area that brings a cabbage. Let me know if you get tired, you want to take a break. Being so far from the contest, you know, my cabbages are going to lose quite a bit of weight from what they weigh in my yard to where I
No! There we go.
weighed in, because it's usually 10, 11 hours later. This was the experiment, so it wouldn't lose weight. Leave the root ball on and then take it off. But I may have a little advantage with the more sunlight north of the Alaska Range than they do down there. I'm hoping that makes a difference, but I don't. We'll find out.
Well, that's definitely a contender.
Oh yeah, you know, when I dug it out, it just went. We got to wait here. It's pretty competitive between Steve Hubachek, Scott Robb, and the Dinkles, and me, and there's some other guys too. It's very competitive.
Now, what's going to happen is the growers are going to bring their cabbages forth. They're going to be placed on the scale, and we're going to get an official weight. That official weight will not be until there's an announcement this microphone.
So he won $1,000 this year.
The weights were down for everybody a little bit this year, but I moved up from third to second this year, so I'm happy with it. So I'm going to try different cabbages and continue my seed program, and hope someday to win.
That's really cool.
I've even heard the cabbages grow. I mean, I was out looking at one of my cabbages one morning, and I heard a noise, and I turned around, and the whole plant was shaking.
I think I might have been talking during that part.
Cabbages and continue my
I'll be very quiet. Listen to the end.
And hope someday to win. I've even heard the cabbages grow. I mean, I was out looking at one of my cabbages one morning, and I heard a noise, and I turned around, and the whole plant was shaking.
Wow. Well, you know, that makes a lot of sense. If his cabbage is growing a couple pounds a day, then that's a significant growth. So that's pretty amazing. Pretty cool. All right. So we talked about the path of the sun and why the sunrise is a little bit different in winter than it is in summer. Now here, in regards to that sunrise in Alaska, so it stays really close to the horizon. If it's the wintertime, it's just below. So you might see a little bit of a golden glow, but you're not going to see that sun. And I think that's really neat. And the reason for all of this amazing stuff, the reason that the sun's path is different in Alaska than it is here, and way different than it is in on the equator, and the reason that they in Alaska have a lot of sunlight in the summer and a lot of nighttime in the winter, all of that is because the earth is tilted. Yeah. Okay. I want to show you something that I just found. Excuse me, pardon me. So you guys probably have found this out already, but I just discovered it maybe 30 minutes ago. It's brand new to me. And so maybe a couple of you, it might be new to you too. And let me log in. Oh, I logged into the wrong one. Hold on. I logged on for me. I don't want to log on for me. I need a student account. I wear my sunglasses at night. Okay. And I'm going to sign out. So again, boys and girls, I create an account for myself as if I'm a student because, like I told you before, I do the same work that you do. I think that's important for me to understand how best to teach you and also to understand where you might have some confusion and some problems. So like I've showed you in my textbook, I do all of the work in the textbook before I teach you. And the same thing here with Studies Weekly. Now, every single week, you should know by now to do those comprehension questions. That's your first grade. Do the crossword puzzle. That's your second grade. And do the misspelled game. That's your third grade. What I need you to understand, and this is really important, and I don't think I have one. Maybe not. When you guys do your assignments and it shows you 100%, that does not mean that you did all the assignments. It means that you did 100% of the reading. I need, not Ancient America, this one. I think I did 100% on one of these. I want you to see what it looks like because moms and dads are sending me screenshots of your assignments to show me that you've got 100%. Oh, bummer. I don't have it here either. All right, well, we're going to have to use our imagination, aren't we? Okay. So when you sign on and you see that big, beautiful report that says 100%, that does not mean that you did all the assignments. That just means that you did all of the reading. And if you look, it says here, continue reading. So if I were to read all of that, then it would be 100% of the reading. So for instance, I'm at a 0% right now. And let me continue reading my prehistoric life. Now, boys and girls, you do know, you have realized, I hope by now, that in my videos I tell you what newspaper we're on. In your assignments on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I tell you what newspaper we're on. On your newsletter, your weekly newsletter, I tell you what newspaper we're on. On the lesson checklist that I made for you, every week I make one for you, I tell you what newspaper we're on. So why do I get emails that say, what newspaper are we on? I love you, but you drive me nuts. Guys, you need to know these things. You need to know what newspaper we're on. Also, on Monday, Miss Allison did a video about dinosaurs. On Tuesday, she did a video about dinosaurs. Wednesday, she did a video about dinosaurs. Thursday, she did a video about dinosaurs. Friday, she did a video about dinosaurs. So I'm going to do my lessons about diamonds. That makes sense? No, your lessons are going to be about dinosaurs. Okay, so I grabbed this one. Now, this isn't the one we're working on. This is the one that you should have done last week, right? Now, reading the newspaper. As I'm reading it, I'm able to answer my questions and I'm able to get my points, okay? So I'm reading my newspaper and I'm going to go to the next one after I answer my questions, of course. And now I'm going to read here about Dr. Bacher. And I'm going to go next. So every time you read this article, now you can read it, you can have it read to you, you can do it both. I would prefer to do it both. And as you're reading through these articles, well, this is a good one. It's recording whether or not you're doing the job, okay? So if you're just going press, 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 it's not going to do you any good. You need to make sure that you are reading through. Okay, and then of course answering these questions. So here's the issue. When I look at your report, I cannot see, like I can see the minute it happens. But here with Studies Weekly, it happens at midnight. They run the report at midnight. So if you did your assignments at 9 o'clock at night, when you probably should be sleeping, I won't see it until tomorrow, okay? So if I send you an email that says, you didn't do this, and you say, oh yeah, I did, I just did it this morning. Okay, well, I didn't see it because again, it won't show up. So look here, you see all the reading that I just did? It still says 0 because it's not going to record until tomorrow. Now, boys and girls, you are seeing a big, beautiful green circle that says 100%, and moms and dads are sending me screenshots of it, but that doesn't mean you did the assignments. Where, Miss Allison, can I find the assignments? I don't know what to do. It's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's on the newsletter. It's on your checklist, and it's in every one of my videos. You need to think and use that big, beautiful brain of yours. Every single week is going to be the same. I do this for you because I love you, okay? So when you're done reading those articles, when you're done answering those questions, when you're done doing those bonus sources and getting those bonus points, you're going to go to the crossword puzzle. And then you're going to play Miss Spilled. Remember, 3 grades. It says test not available. Absolutely. I'm not giving you any tests. I'm giving you 3 grades, 1 for the questions, 1 for the crossword, and 1 for the Miss Spilled. You have to finish the crossword in order for it to record that you've done it. And if you did the crossword and then you click back on it, it's going to reset for you. I'll still know that you did it after midnight, of course, but it will reset if you're like, oh, I want to double check, did I do that crossword puzzle? And you click on it and it shows that you didn't do it. Okay, so if that's the case, you can always email me and say, Miss Allison, it's Friday and I did it on Monday, can you check? Sure, I can. So I want to show you what I just found out. These crosswords were driving me crazy because I'm clicking inside here, and then if I accidentally type something, it like won't let me, like I can't, like, duh, Miss Allison. Oh, see, it won't let me go back. I'm trying to click here. It won't let me do it. But here's what I found out. Look. And, oh, rewind. I don't want to show you what I found out yet. Here's my other problem. So first problem, I can't fix my typing. Can I go back? Oh, I can do that. Oh, I learned another new thing. So you can hit the back button. That works. But you can't click in the box and start over. But the back button works. Oh, I know. I learned 2 things today. The other issue that I'm having is, for instance, if I'm doing like number 3 down, I have to go and I have to look. This is an easy one. Some of them have a lot of them, right? Number 3 down, sometimes it's hard for me to see which one it is. Watch. If I click here, do you see where I am where it says across 2? If I click here, it automatically highlighted it. Now watch, I don't need to move my mouse. A feathered dinosaur whose fossils have been found, I'm not giving you the answer. Look at that. I did not even have to move my mouse to click on that. I'm going to do it again with number 1. Click number 1. See how it highlighted it now? I didn't even have to move my mouse. I like that. Flowering plants. What's a flowering plant? It's a jugufga, right? So this is kind of neat. You don't have to keep going back and forth and clicking and moving. You can just type in the quiet period, the first dinosaur skeleton. The first ancient human skeleton was found in Neander Valley. You should know these answers because you read all of those articles, right? So I did want to show you that. That was really, 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 really cool. The other thing that's cool is when you type in, watch what happens when I type the last letter. Watch what happens to that orange. It turned red to tell me, boom, that it's wrong. Red because it's wrong, but then it doesn't stay red. So you have to pay attention to every detail. Pay attention to everything that you're doing, okay? So that's the cool thing that I learned. So now I learned 2 things about the crossword puzzle. I'm excited about that. Let's say I finished my crossword puzzle and I finished all of those comprehension questions and I finished the bonus questions. What am I going to do now? Those 3 grades, right? Now I'm going to go to the misspelled game and I'm going to play the misspelled game. So I had an email, well, I sent a lot of emails last night that says, moms and dads, your sweet babies have not done their iReady, or have not done their, well, that too, but have not done their studies weekly. And they send back, oh, but they did 100%. And I say, please check the crossword puzzle and please check the misspelled game. You know, make sure that you guys are doing that because you don't want to get a 0 for that grade. My page doesn't want to load, does it? Well, that's okay. You know what it looks like. You've done it before. Well, if you'll excuse me, I believe I'm going to go for a walk outside, even though it's nighttime. I'll see you guys. Love you. Bye. Don't look at the sun.